Hey, thanks for joining us on the Scabbard. I'm Dave Valente. Man, it's been a rough week. Um, Started out with promise, beating up on the Rangers, and it's really just gone downhill from there. The Blues game was just a sloppy mess from a defensive aspect, and then the Carolina Hurricanes game was just absolute garbage. Probably from about 15 minutes in, they played a decent first period up until they got scored on, and they just wilted. And it was not good. And Saturday night has been rather brutal for the Sabres the last few weeks. Last three games, they have been our stat of the night is they've been outscored 17-4 in their last three Saturday night games. 6-2 last night, 4-0 against Pittsburgh a few weeks ago, and then last week, of course, the 7-2 loss to the Devils. So brutal, brutal Saturday night. Saturday nights are not all right for fighting because it doesn't feel like the Sabres have much fight in them. Um, but feel free to drop a question, a comment, whatever you want to talk about into tonight's game going into the game against Nashville Predators, whether you just want to vent or whatever. It's been difficult, and we'll open up the chat here. Just drop it in there; it'll pop up on the screen. I don't care even if I get embarrassing stuff put in there. Uh, Feel free to drop a comment in there. Um, so let's go into the Canes game review. It was difficult. First 15 minutes were okay. They played well. Um, and then Sebastian Aho, who just scores on us he's got 27 points in 18 games against the Buffalo Sabres, maybe more. I don't know how many he put up last night, but he scores the first goal of the game. It was a shot just at the top of the slot, open. Yeah, you'd like to see Eric Comrie make the save on that one. It was, that was not screened, but it was a hell of a shot. It was top shelf, beat him glove side. and it's 1-0. And very quickly after that, the Sabres lose a battle in front of the net. Puck is tipped over Comrie's shoulder. It's 2-0, and from that moment on, the Sabres just disappeared. Yeah, you can say, well, they won the third period. They outscored the Hurricanes 2-1 in the third period. Too late, way too late. The time he needs those kinds of responses. And Connor Clifton got into a fight at the end of the game. Too late. The time to do that is when you go down 2-0, 3-0, something along those lines. Show me some fight. Show me a little bit of effort. There was from that time of that second goal, there was not an ounce of compete in the Buffalo Sabres for the rest of the night. Speaking of Connor Clifton, I do want to thank the people at Roswell Park and the Buffalo Sabres for doing their signed helmets. If you donated $50 during the Hockey Fights Cancer game, you got a signed helmet. I did get one from Connor Clifton. This is the third year in a row I've done it. I've gotten one from Matthias Samuelson and Brandon Montour. So I got that one during the COVID shortened season, the second COVID shortened season. Um, right before it was like 2 days before Brandon Montour got traded. I got the helmet from that because they held the Hockey Fights Cancer game in February or something along those lines. I think it was during the brutal 18 game winless streak. So, but yeah, thanks to the Sabres for that. Thanks to Roswell Park for doing what it does and fighting the good fight to stop cancer. But yeah, the first 15 minutes were okay. Collapsed after that first goal. Face-off losses continue to mount. The shorthanded goal was directly off a face-off loss. Again, clean shot. There wasn't really a screen. You would like to see Comrie stop that one. It gets past him again, glove side high. So if you're an opposing team, Eric Comrie's in the net. Perhaps that's where you start focusing your shots. Um, there was no compete, and the pushback came too late. So you've got to get these games. You can't. I don't care if Carolina Hurricanes are supposed to be a better team than the Buffalo Sabres. You can't just let a team push you around and score at will on you without some kind of show me something. Start hitting players. Start fights. I don't care what you do. Just show me that there's a pulse here. Don't just skate your 45 seconds, go back to the bench and collect your paycheck at the end of the game. There's nothing more frustrating to a Buffalo Sabres fan than a team that doesn't compete and doesn't show a little bit of heart, even when the odds are stacked against them, even when the team is in a rough shape. Putting an honest effort is what Buffalo Sabres want to see. Um, I think we'll forgive a lot of things if we're seeing an honest effort. And I think, the last couple of seasons we say, you're giving us an honest effort. You're learning this stuff. Um, so we're going to cut you a little bit of slack. We're happy that you're, showing signs of improvement. We're seeing regression now. And I think that coupled with the fact that we're not seeing pushback um, is concerning. Now, Dylan Cousins, to his credit after the game, did really call out the team. I'd like to see more of that. But if you're in a position where you need to call out your teammates, and to an extent he did this himself as well, there's some issues here. If you're not starting games on time, if you're wilting in the face of pressure, there are a lot of issues here. And these are not just, oh, well, they're young and they're learning, which, we talked about that the last episode. It's okay to be young and learning. Um, but these are things that, especially at the compete level, that's stuff that you need to have long before you sign your first professional contract. This is stuff that you need to have in your mites and midgets days. Um, that's the stuff you need to develop. The tools of the game, the stuff that comes with experience. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a pass on. But again, the Sabres chose this route when it came to the building their team. Youth heavy, and then putting on the expectations of playoffs this season. Uh, it's incredibly frustrating to watch this team right now. And if you're on any of the forums that I'm on, the Facebook pages that I'm on, like the Buffalo Sabres Mafia and Sabres Nation, um, it's pretty brutal every night when you see the team drop that effort and the virtual boo birds are out there. You wanna root for this team. You want them to do well. You wanna break the 12-year playoff drought. I mean, at least the Jets, I think, are going to miss their playoffs again for the 13th straight season. So, you know, we're not alone, but this is still an NHL record, number of seasons without the playoffs if they just don't get their shit together, and that's what they need to do, and they can start doing that tonight. Nashville Predators coming in. They're 11, 12, and 0 on the season, sixth in the Central Division. They're lost two straight, including last night where they were up 2-0 and fell to the New York Rangers 4-3. Comeback win for them. Kevin Lankinen was in net last night, so it looks like we'll get UC Saros, who is a Vezina caliber goaltender, really good goaltender. Not had the best numbers, but he does have 8 of their 11 wins this season. So he does enough to get the W's for the Nashville Predators. Sabres going to have to do something. They're going to have to show some grit, some fortitude. You know, find out what they did in that Rangers game and replicate it. Find out what they've done in some of the other games, like the Colorado game, and try and replicate that because what they're doing the last few games just isn't working. Our Preds lines tonight: Philip Forsberg, who leads the team in goals, assists, and points with 27 points this season, centered by former Sabre Ryan O'Reilly, former Sabre alert. Sherwood, Parsonen, and Evangelista on that second line. Trennan, Sissons, and Smith on the third line, and Foudy, McCarron, and Tomasino. Uh, if you watched my original show, the Thursday or Saturday Night Hockey Show, which morphed into the Thursday Night Hockey Show, my former co-host was a big Philip Tomasino fan. Uh, has not quite gotten to the point where he's contributing on a nightly basis for this team to the thought to where they had drafted him. So um, hopefully he maintains his non contributory status for at least one more game. Sorry, Travis, but anyway, Preds projected defensive pairings tonight. We've got McDonough, former Tampa Bay Lightning and New York Ranger, paired with Roman Yossi, or not Vezina, but Norris Trophy guy. Dante Fabro with Lazon, Jeremy Lazon. Stastny, not one of the Stastny brothers' kids, but Stastny is paired with one of the other Shen brothers. I think we played all three Shen brothers in the last week. So, um, or they're multiplying and getting traded. I have no idea. The goalies tonight, we believe it's going to be UC Soros since Lankinen played last night, getting the start in Buffalo. Buffalo's had a pretty good run against the Preds, 3-1, I believe, in the last four. Hopefully, they can keep it going. They also haven't been swept in a back to back yet. Um, they either win the first game or the second game. They have not swept a back to back either. So hopefully they can keep it going and get the second half of this back to back and get the win on their return to home ice. The Sabres are they're not getting a break in the schedule. They're getting more home games over the next couple weeks, but they are a very busy group this winter. Um, they will be playing pretty much every other night for the next few weeks, up until the Christmas holiday. I think they got 1 week where they get two nights off in a row, but it's pretty much just every other day for the Buffalo Sabres, going through December. Pred scratches tonight is Glass and Novak. They won't be skating for the Predators. Sabres projected lines. We didn't get. They didn't have practice. We didn't get a really good read on what's going to happen. This is just my guess. Jordan Greenway did go out early in the game last night, um, so I'm not expecting him to be in there. So I would say that Isaac Roseanne draws back in. Skinner, Middlestat, Tuck, Benson, Cousins, Turka, Roseanne, Krebs, Okposo, Byro, Jost, and Olafson on that fourth line. Um, yeah, show me something tonight, please. Sabres defensive pairing: Darlene and Samuelson, Power, Yoki Haru, Clifton, and Johnson. Um, there was no word whether Ryan Johnson will come back in tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if he sits one of the third pairing defensemen, because both were kind of awful last night and have been kind of awful all season. I think Clifton more than Johnson, but we'll see. Sabres goalie, since Comrie got the start last night, we're expecting Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen to get the game back in Buffalo. Um, Coming off a rough start against the Blues. Um, and let's see if he bounces back and puts out a stellar performance. I'm hoping for a stellar performance because I'd hate for everyone to really start pronouncing, and I did the same, pronouncing him the number one goalie for the Buffalo Sabres, and then immediately go to crap. So, but the Sabres have to be better defensively, and that's just the long and the short of it here. Saber scratches, of course, Thompson on IR, Bryson healthy, Gergenson's on IR, Quinn on long term IR. Not sure what the status is of Greenway. He may play tonight. That if he does, then it's probably going to be for either Byro or Roseanne. Um, and then if not, then it's let's just hope it's not an 11-7 night. Um, but anyway, that's where we're at. Buffalo, you know what? I think that's last. It seems like they've settled into this as far as the season's gone, as far as putting the Sabres as a 1.5 goal dog. I don't think that's the case tonight. Um, May have forgotten to update that. But it feels like every night there is the Sabres listed as a 1.5 goal dog. They're actually the favorite at 1.5%. Over under is 6.5. So, yeah, that's wrong on the screen there. It's Sabres losing a goal and a half, and the over under 6.5. Three keys to the game: find balance. We had a really, it's hard to say it was great offensive performance. Yes, they scored 4 goals, but they also left a lot on the table in that game. But they had lots of zone time. It was great, but their defense suffered because of it. Um, Last night, I think they tried to play a little bit more defensive game, and when that didn't work, they just collapsed. So let's find balance. Let's get a game that is good offensively, competent defensively, and try and win a game here. Get the first goal, for God's sakes. I mean, how many games have we gone where uh, we're down a goal, down two, down three, and really just chasing games? You've got to stop that. Got to start putting pressure on the team and getting that first goal. And then defending the middle. Too many down the slot, down the throat of the goaltender chances that have resulted in the last couple of games, that because we're chasing games that we give up on defense. And yeah, we've got to defend the middle. Um, if you give up a goal that's on the wall, I mean, yeah, it sucks, and I'm gonna yell at the goaltender for that. But um, it's far better than watching a guy just skate in and watch our guys get back down, and a goal getting scored. All right, on this date, December 3rd, 1974, Rick Martins records his second of a franchise record for 4 goal games. So he's had four goals in games, and tonight was the anniversary of the second in 1974. The Sabres topped the Washington Capitals 5-3 in that game. So he was pretty much all the offense. Way to go, Rick Martin. And on the farm report, Amerks are 11-6-2 on the season, and they're third in the AHL North. They've fallen back a little bit. They lost to Belleville last night 4-2. Uri Kulik got both goals. Lucas Rusek got both assists on both goals. Devin Levi stopped 30 of 34. Not a horrible night, but uh, yeah, didn't get the win. They host Charlotte, which is the Florida Panthers' top farm club on Friday. Belleville, of course, is Ottawa's top farm club. And for the Jacksonville Icemen, they are 9-7-2, and up to second in the ECHL Eastern Conference South Division. They did lose to Montreal's ECHL team, the Trois-Rivières Lions. 4-3 on Saturday. They traveled to Savannah on Tuesday, which is the Vegas Golden Knights ECHL team, who they beat recently. So they are going on the road finally. It's been a while since we've seen the Icemen on the road for more than a game or so. So that's it. The week ahead, of course, next game is going to be against Detroit, possibly the debut of Patrick Kane as a Red Wing. Boston we go to Boston on December 7th and Montreal on the 9th. Um, and then we have Arizona next Monday. So again, every other day we're getting games here. So they're coming thick and fast, and the Sabres have to figure things out, or this season could be over by December. By the end of December, before you get Tage Thompson back, before you get Jack Quinn back, the season could be over. There's a chance that if you can't figure out things out and start stringing some wins together, that the pack is going to leave you. Now it hasn't left us yet, but let teams 4, 5, and 6 in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division start getting hot, and they'll leave the Sabres behind. And then we're just trying to play catch up, and then we're getting close to the trade deadline. We're probably going to end up having to deal some folks and things like that. So, um, got to figure it out soon. Our next episode, of course, is Tuesday night, 6 o'clock against the Red Wings, as we feature that maybe that Patrick Kane debut and all that fun stuff. Um, but yeah, that is the next episode. It's been a very tough week. Hopefully, the week next week will go better. It would be nice to get big wins, string together a few wins in a row, especially against the Detroit team that we did well against last year. I think we got points in all 4 games against the Detroit Red Wings last year, even though a few went to overtime. And then start stacking some points against Boston, who's shown a little bit of vulnerability the last couple weeks or so. And then Montreal, again, a team that you have to beat. So these are three games that one you're going to measure the Sabres against as far as Detroit and Boston, and then 3 a team that you should beat and get those points, and you've lost 2 of them already this season. So um, anyway, thanks for watching this show. I really appreciate it. If you can give us a like, a share, a subscribe, it doesn't cost you a damn thing, and it helps us out and gets us before more folks. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Go watch Sabres Game Night at MSG with probably Howard Simon again. He's been there the last couple nights. So Duffer's been sick. Marty on Sabres Game Night, or check out WGR if you're into the radio side, and it's Koziel and Paul Hamilton there. But I am getting ready to watch this. I'm in West Virginia, so I can't really listen. I guess listen via the Odyssey app, but watching the game, uh, catching the call from Ray and Dunleavy. So, all right, thanks everybody, and we will talk to everyone on Tuesday.